We're turning in the card on Chris Worley, the Ohio State linebacker. Will he be taken in the 2018 NFL Draft? We've written on these cards where we would draft him, if at all. We're going to turn in the card and see who picks Chris Worley the highest. Turn in the card on Worley. Who got him? Who got him? Timmy got him.
Tim who was teasing not drafting him. Got
him.
By 5 picks. I have him number 239 to the Green Bay Packers. When I think of Worley, I thought he was one of those guys that needed to test well at the combine, and he did not. I think he had one of the lowest SPARQ scores among linebackers who were off the line of scrimmage. Percentile-wise, just 2.6. And at 238 pounds, obviously, you know, he's not going to fit that mold of a guy who's just got great size. So he's going to have to make his mark on special teams. So it's just going to be, it's almost a crapshoot when you get in the 7th round. You're banking on, just hoping you find that diamond in the rough. And Worley's got a guy with decent speed who knows how to just get involved in the play, make some tackles. Worley will be a guy fighting, one of those guys fighting, I think, for a job, but I think he'll know where he's going by the end of the draft.
There's a consensus here. We're all within 11 picks. I picked him 244 to Atlanta, and what'd you pick him?
250 to Seattle, which is not Mr. Irrelevant, but it is the last of the 7th round picks before you get into the compensatory picks.
Okay, so 256 is the full draft. So we all have him late in the 7th round. I went through and made a list of guys in my time covering Ohio State that I think he's a little bit comparable to. Josh Perry went in the 4th round. Evan Spencer went in the 6th round. Dan Herron, 6th round. Jermail Hines, 5th round. Brian Roll and Ross Homan, both linebackers, both 6th round picks. Kurt Coleman at safety was a 7th round pick who then had a great NFL career. Those were all guys who were like good football players at Ohio State that I wasn't sure if they were great athletes, if they were NFL caliber athletes. I think Worley's right on the edge. I think if guys like Ross Homan and Brian Roll got drafted, Chris Worley could get drafted. But another guy who kind of reminds me of is Tyvis Powell, who was a really good player at Ohio State, wasn't a fantastic athlete necessarily, did not get drafted. Hooked on as an undrafted guy, Worley will be in a camp. And it's one of those things sometimes late, you're almost better off not being drafted than being drafted in the 7th round. Then you can pick your team. I think he's right on the edge, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think like when I think about what he would do well in the pre-draft process, I think it's interview was probably the thing he would do best. I think he can talk himself into being drafted. And I think like personality-wise, the Seahawks jumped out to me right away because he is just like a no-nonsense kind of rip your head off kind of guy. He just doesn't have like the physical presence or the athletic numbers really to back that up, but he looks to me like a guy who could like become like the captain of your special teams. So I think that's a guy that you get in a room with him, you sit across from him, you're like, you know what? I'm saving a spot for him. I think I'm going to draft him later.